Okay, back to the Mark2Mark conversation. Guys, the weekend gave us a lot of drama, surprises, malaria, just pure sporting what? Pure sporting brilliance.
Sporting bliss.
Yes, thank you so much. Because now we see the Gazelles, stamping, their presence in Cairo. The golfers, Musimenta and Rugumayo, having the greens lit. And then the NBA, we have now the trade deadlines, chaos, leaving us with so much to unpack. So there's so much to get into. But, well, as usual, I'm going to be your host, Pali Rose, and in the room with the sharpest minds in sports, that's Mark Namanya and Mark Ssali. So let's get into it. On today's menu, we have Uganda'S Day Out. We'll be looking into the Gazelles, how they conquer Cairo. Musimenta, Rugumayo, set the greens on fire. We have badminton, Curry Storms, Cameroon, and a lot more on the home front. Secondly, we have European royalty at war. Real Madrid, and the Man City duo headlines, in the Champions League playoffs. We'll be looking into that. That was, I think, this week? Last week. Then we have the NBA's World Merry-Go-Round, which comes the question of who were the winners and losers as one of the most memorable trade sequences, when they climaxed on the deadline day. And of course, now I'll later come in with Paul's wisdom, and then we get into the predictions. Thank you. All right, now in Uganda'S Day Out, guys, the Ugandan flag has been flying so high this weekend. We've seen what the Gazelles have done.
Yeah. It's I'll start there. I know Mark is chomping at the bit to talk about the golf. It was amazing what was happening on the greens. Yeah, but I'll start in Cairo with the Gazelles. The girls, they did us proud. It was amazing. I watched every minute of every game since they started the round robin. Remember last week before they started, we talked about it here, and I was talking about their chances as being most realistically about getting to a final and then perhaps getting a wild card. In 2023, they finished second in Lugogo to Egypt, having lost the final to Egypt, but got a wild card because they played so well. Africa gave them a wild card to play at the AfroBasket in Kigali in 2023, where they went and finished seventh. It was an amazing thing. But this time, I thought it might be just about the same thing. And I thought that we would be hustling with Kenya to find a finalist to play against Egypt. It turned out in our opening game, Kenya were easy meat, and they eventually lost to South Sudan. So that meant that it was between us and South Sudan to see who joined Egypt in that final, rather out of the round robin, as the best two out of the three, because we had all won one game and lost one. So Kenya was not even in the conversation. And thankfully, again, we got into the final on pure merit, because out of the table of three, we had only lost narrow to Egypt by 3 points. It was 65-62.
That was so close.
It was very close. 65-62 game we should have won. And then so we've beaten South Sudan, who had beaten Kenya. So South Sudan eventually were beaten by Egypt, so we got into the final with Egypt. And the girls just caught fire. I think they were still stung by how narrowly they had lost that game in the round robin. So in the final, the girls play. Nick Natwereza, our coach, of course, reduced the rotation. He had been using about 9-10 players before. So this was about a 6-man rotation, tough 6-man rotation, because when the minutes were hogged largely by Paige Robinson, by Zama, Jamila Nanskombi, by Jen Asinde, the captain, by Hope Akulo, by Hope Akelo, and Melissa Akulo. Mostly those five, taking most of the time. Of course, as well as, there were 6 actually, with Shakira Namvubia, so who actually played the second highest minutes. So Jenna said the top scores for us on 19, Paige, and she had 12 boards. She pulled down 12 boards as well. And then Paige scored 16, and Zama having her best game of the tournament, because she had started slowly. She has not been playing a lot of basketball. She had first a lot of criticism in the earlier games about how she was playing. Jamina Nanskombi, we call her Zama. But she came alive in the game against Burundi, the penultimate game, and then in this final, she dropped 15 on Egypt, showing us the talent which was brought her there. So those girls, the 6, of course, Melissa Akulo had 8, and Shakira Namvubia had 7, and Hope Akelo had 6. Those 6 girls basically got the job done, and there was a few minutes given to Claire Lamunu and Becky Longom at the end, and a couple of others got a few seconds to play. So We win, we beat Egypt, we are the champions of Zone 5 and go into AfroBasket on merit. And Egypt now are the ones looking to the wild card. Now what happens is we celebrate this because it's only our 4th qualification for AfroBasket. And they've been thrown apart. The first time we qualified, most of the people watching here will not have seen that. The girls who played will not have seen that. Most people in the basketball fraternity today don't know, but I was there. 1997 was the first time we qualified for AfroBasket. I remember very well. Those days we used to play most of these games in Kasarani. They're the ones who had an indoor gym where we could play. Because I had played there personally with the boys in 95 and 96 for the men's version. So 97, the first time the women went as Uganda, because even me, we played mostly club championships when I was playing for Blue Jackets at Cairo University. But 1 or 2 for Uganda as well. But I remember very well 1997. Penny Nakabenge, Mark knows Penny very well. Susan Kafumbe Makasa, she's since passed on, unfortunately. Zaina Mbabazi, Hafsa Bireke, Imelda Monges, I'm sure you've heard of her. You've heard of Ruth Jamwa. These are names you've heard of. These are the girls who represented us at that time. They're very, very mature women now. And they went and played their hearts out. Those days we couldn't beat Kenya. Penny and Susan, all those girls, they were the best here, but we couldn't beat Kenya. We couldn't touch them. And now the Kenyans, we've since surpassed them. They're not in our league anymore. Even in the boys' bed where they used to beat us. So in fact, when you talk to Pada, she'll tell you, we learned how to play basketball from the Kenyans. Now they can't match us. But anyway, so we qualified in 97. It took us another 18 years to play again in 2015 again. Then 2023, we were there again. And then this is going to be our 4th rather, Yes, so very few players who are involved here were involved in, actually none almost, because Flavia Okecho and the girls who were involved in 2015 and 2023, most of them did not come back this time. But Hope and Melissa and Jane and some of these other girls actually, they were there in 2023 in Kigali when we finished 7th. And they come back. This time, of course, we didn't have Flavia and the girls from JKL. There was a bit of controversy about how they pulled out of the national team with a few complaints. But because we have such a depth of talent, we had girls coming from abroad and then the rest from the league, like I've just said, Becky Longom and the others, and Sheila Lamunu and the others. They still made a very strong team. It's gone there, it's qualified, and we are headed to Ivory Coast. This is July, August. This time it is in Abidjan, in Ivory Coast, where our girls are going to play. But they were on fire. It was amazing. The excitement in the fraternity is justified.
Two things, Mark, for me. One, that the Gazelles did very well emerging as champions without Janon Otto. Because Otto had been such a tremendous weapon for us as a scorer. I wondered who was going to fill that void. And I thought they answered me perfectly. But secondly, I think the current Gazelles team, unlike the one you mentioned, now we have just about each and everyone who's tested experience playing elsewhere in the world, and it's given them an added edge in terms of mental, then the mental prowess, and then the physicality, and they're not going to be intimidated by anyone. I mean, Cindy has played in the US.
She's now in China.
And people like Paige and
Paige is in the US in Denver.
So I think
Melissa is in Portugal.
So I think our girls have come a very, very long way. And even the boys have come a long way from where basketball was a couple of years ago. And I think having beaten Egypt,
this is interesting.
Having beaten Egypt, could easily have beaten Egypt twice actually in the tournament. I think the team will not be intimidated when it arrives in Abidjan.
So Mark and Pearl, in Abidjan, what will happen is that we have the hosts, Ivory Coast. We have the semi-finalists from 2023. They qualify automatically. That is Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, and Rwanda. So they'll be there. And then we have the winners of the different zones. We won Zone 5, as you saw. But we have two other winners, Cameroon and Angola, who won their different zones, who will join us. So it's a packed, now the game, you have to step up your level. So hopefully, I don't know, Jana Noto will still not be available in July, August. I think our injury is a bit longer. But Paige has come in and done well. And some of the girls who played today, Jane and Melissa will be okay because they'll be coming from competitive basketball. But people like Zama and Claire Lamonu, who came in perhaps a bit rusty, will have gotten even better. They gave us good minutes this time. They'll have gotten even better then. And hopefully then, even from the local pool, these girls would have gotten even more experience. And maybe even the JKL girls will be back in the fold. Who knows? Who knows? But Ivory Coast, here we come.
Wow. Let's go. Congratulations, man. Congratulations, the Gazelles. You made us proud.
Oh, yes. Without a shadow of doubt.